Our first speaker, who's Christine Percy. She's a former research project manager at the and holds a Masters of Business Administration. She currently enjoys caring for her 2 children while volunteering as a consumer rep on the Friends of the Birth Centre and studying with a view of operating pregnancy and postnatal fitness classes for women. Her sincere hope is that one day true continuity of care will be the norm for all Australian women rather than the exception. Please welcome Christine.
Thanks, Sue. Good morning, everyone. My name is Christine, and I've been asked to share with you today my experience of continuity of care in the Metro North region. For anyone here today who's a little unsure of what continuity of care means, I looked up the definition. The National Maternity Services Plan defines continuity of care as the practice of ensuring that a woman knows her maternity care providers and receives care from the same provider or small group of providers throughout pregnancy, labour, birth and the postpartum period. Now I have 2 beautiful children, Sophie who's 4 and James who is 10 months. And for my first pregnancy I used a shared care model with my GP and I had a drug-free birth at the birth suites at the RVH. For my second pregnancy I was cared for through a caseload midwifery model and had a natural water birth at the birth centre at the RVH. That's my passion for the Friends of the Birth Centre. So, based on the definition that I gave before, I received continuity of care with my second pregnancy. When I sat down to write my speech for today, I quickly realised that it was going to be a bit difficult to describe 2 what I think are rather interesting birth stories and compare the benefits of continuity of care. So I sort of took a bit of a different approach. I got thinking about why I now feel so passionately about the birth centre and the midwifery-led model of care that I experienced with James. And I think the simplest way that I can explain it is that after each birth, I was left with 2 very different lasting impressions. After having Sophie, I came away feeling proud that I'd achieved a drug-free birth, but also disappointment that the model of care hadn't reached all of my expectations, and I was left with this feeling that I'm not doing that again, there has to be a better way. So this disappointment led me to look for another care option that would better suit my needs. When it came time for James's arrival, my head was in a completely different space. I'd been under the care of the midwives, I was positive, I was relaxed, I knew I had a great team of people behind me, and they were all on my side. I came out of James's birth thinking, I totally nailed it. I could do this again. Which we're not, we're tapped out of the toilet. At the time. And that positivity and confidence carried through to my confidence as a mother. It contributed, I think, to a much faster physical, mental and emotional recovery. And it still stays with me to this day. So I then drilled down a bit further to try and identify the things that made continuity of care so effective for me. I felt I received more consistent and comprehensive information. I was more comfortable asking questions with somebody that I felt I knew. And I could also disclose my fears much more openly. And I felt that they genuinely cared for my well-being and also for my husband. It was very comforting to know that there would be a familiar face at the birth and also visiting me afterwards. And my husband had a greater opportunity to be involved and felt more comfortable because I was more comfortable. I asked him last night what he thought the biggest difference was between the 2 births, and he said one thing was that he thought that I'd done it before, therefore I had that background and I'd made choices that would help me the second time round. But also, the minute we walked into the birth centre, we were basically sitting around having a chat. Then I'd have a contraction, then I'd pop back up and, we had another chat about something else, and it was just so much more relaxed. So whereas under the shared care model, I did feel that it was disjointed. There were different people for different purposes. There was some different information from different people depending on who you were talking to. When I was at the hospital, whether I was waiting for in maternity outpatients for an appointment there, or even with, when I was in the labour ward, you're a little bit more like a number than a person. And also, during the postpartum period, I felt more isolated. I didn't have as much contact, and I felt, okay, I've had the baby, I'm now home, and that's it. I now have to find my own way. So that were the main differences that I found between the two experiences. I think when you're experiencing such a life-changing event, such as childbirth, which demands so much of your emotional, mental and physical strength, these differences in care delivery can make an enormous difference to the experience and the resilience of the parents involved. And this holds true regardless of how a woman births, whether she delivers naturally with pain relief or by caesarean. Continuity of care is very important. So that's basically me, that's my summary. I hope I've kept it to my 5 minutes. I'm with Friends of the Birth Centre today. Heidi, our president, is here today also, so please feel free to come and ask any questions throughout the day. Want any questions of me or of the Birth Centre. Thank you.